Right, so we're going to be creating our virtual classroom now. The virtual classroom has all the amenities you could want or expect in a regular classroom setup. So what that means is you get you get everything right from your whiteboard to the smallest emotion that your student could be showing. So it is even possible for your student to raise their hands to ask a question or to collaborate in a classroom environment and for you to interact with them personally in direct messages. So let's see how that works now, right? So you set up your classroom with or without the possibility of recording that session. You name your classroom whatever you want. I'll just leave it to tutorial. You can set it up so students would have to wait for a teacher to enter before they can enter. So that sort of ensures um, that students don't fight amongst themselves. You can set the session to be recorded or not recorded. There are a number of settings associated with that. You can set users, you can set schedule your session and so on all the way to the end, and I'm going to just display how everything sets out, right? So when you set everything up, you get a link to join that classroom. I'm already inside it. Each student would get a separate link to get in to enter, right? So once you've entered the room, you get an option to join with a microphone or a or in the listen only mode. So what that ensures is basically there is no background noise from all of the many students that are attending your class. So the teacher opts for the microphone, students opt for the listen only part, and right, so echo test was successful. So right here we've got the whiteboard on which the teacher can load a presentation or a PDF if they like. I'm going to upload a past paper. So there we go. Well, let's just upload the latest physics syllabus, shall we? So I'm going to upload that, and you could upload anything you like, all the way from PDFs to PowerPoints or whatever. You could upload all of those documents for sharing, and when that's done, all of your students would be able to view the document or the slides or whatever you've tried to share alongside you. Right, so the things, my PDF has been uploaded. So anything that I can see on my screen right now in in this whiteboard region, uh, your students or my students would be able to view as well, right? So okay, so with that you've got a number of options. You've got your pen, you can type things, and you can draw all sorts of things. Of course, in different colors as well to your liking, and you can even share your whiteboard so students would be able to respond on the same document that you are writing on, right? So it's possible for you to screen share um, everything that you to your students, right? So your students can interact with you and the rest of the class on the virtual classroom. Right. You can share your screen. You can share your pictures via webcam. You can have detailed audio controls set up for you, and you get even more controls from the lock view menu down here. So, for example, if you don't want your students to be able to share their webcams and see each other, for instance, well, you can set those settings right here, and they'd be blocked from doing so. You have complete control over the audio status. You can mute all users so that no background noise is encountered from the rest of the listeners, and so on. and you can create breakout rooms where students can be put in groups to collaborate amongst each other. So when that is done, and you've explained whatever you wanted to explain uh, via screen share or whatever, so when all of that is done, you can start interacting with your students so that the session is no longer a one-way session, and it becomes into an active classroom environment that you would want in a regular setup as well. So what I tend to do is I tend to engage students via the e-polling service. So what that does is you get a number of options. You could create your own custom poll. So I could ask students, for example, um, are you attending the session via smartphone uh, or via laptop, for instance? And you could instantly start that poll to your liking, and a push button would appear on the screens of those students. So whatever answer they give, you get an overview of the entire class as a percentage, as well as individual responses down here. So you can see what Timmy's been up to and what anybody has been up to. Finally, I'd like to also share the different chat facilities we have going around. Um, I ask my students to collaborate in their e-learning environment via the public chat so that everybody can contribute to their answers, and I correct them via the direct chat service that where a teacher can communicate directly with their students without involving any of the other students. So that's where I tend to correct my students. So that's about it. There are a number of other features as well that I'll be skipping. So more details on that later. Thank you.